So my voice is fading, but I'm going to hopefully try to power through and welcome you guys back to another episode of my F1 24 My Team Career Mode. We arrive at Brazil, and this is a big one because we finally unlock an extra sponsor, increasing cash flow and improving our team performance. Now, we also have to renew one of our sponsors, which is AI. Now, we'll get into that in just a bit, guys. The previous episode, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, guys. Link in the top right for the Mexican Grand Prix, a championship critical race where Verstappen was on fire.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
We arrive here looking to try and close in the championship a little bit more. Now, you saw briefly that third sponsor unlock, and I went through the due diligence, and Neon was the best one available because it has the best weekly income, the longest contract length, and I think is 5th ranked or 6th ranked in terms of goal bonus. So achieve a top 4 finish during the race. Fairly straightforward. That's kind of the trend. We've won, I think, 5 of the last 7 races, so that should hopefully be fairly achievable, and thus we complete the cycle of sponsors for the season. And of course, we are going to bring Neon onto the car, onto the race suits and all the team wear. So you can see here on the revised livery, on the barge board, on the end of the engine cover, you can see there Neon now features on the car prominently. Also on the front nose, you'll see when the camera pans around, literally just a little small logo with the rest of our secondary sponsors on the side of the nose, which looks really nice. And that is going to complete our livery for the season, guys. You can see the Neon there on the nose, just completing the presentation of the car for the season. And of course, this will be a public mod once the season finishes with all the special liveries very, very soon. I've got one more special livery to reveal to you guys, and hopefully, if it all goes well, you'll see it very soon. In the meantime, here is the championship. So this is the state of play. 17 points to Verstappen's favour heading into the last 4 rounds. We, of course, have Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, if I'm not mistaken, and there's sprints today in Brazil and in Qatar, so plenty of points up for grabs. Now, Ferrari and Maserati have put their heads together and brought us an engine power upgrade as a supplier update. So we are going to have a slight improvement this weekend. You can see we actually jumped Mercedes, and we're now the 4th best team behind Red Bull, behind Ferrari and behind McLaren. So making strides at the crucial time in the season where every upgrade matters. Now, with that out of the way, you can see our form as well. 4 wins in the last 5 and 5 podiums in the last 5, full stop. The forecast is dry, no rain expected, which is also very, very good. We'll see in the sprint shootout if we have any rain. Either way, things are looking good, and we've got reasons to feel optimistic. Now, in practice, we got things underway in a bit of a dramatic way, struggling a little bit with the car balance around here, and, you know, just not quite feeling super comfortable. I didn't know what to expect really heading into this one. Brazil's always a bit of a hit and miss in terms of my pace versus the AI, but in terms of the race programs, it went fairly well.
Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done.
Now, we finished our race runs. You can see we had slightly above average tyre wear. Fuel burn was fine, that was bang on the money, and yeah, generally the pace was also, I'd say, okay. We struggled a little bit in the initial laps. We peaked around lap 3, and then eventually tyre wear started to catch up. So a very, I'd say, traditional program, and kind of, you know, within the realms of normality in terms of tyre wear. Either way, we finished in P12, Jamie Chadwick P17, 3 tenths between us, albeit on a tyre difference, and a bit of a mixture of compounds across the field. So again, not too sure where we really stand. Either way, the only practice session done, and we're now going to delve into qualifying for the sprint shootout, and of course then follow that up with the main qualifying shortly after. In between, we've got the sprint race sandwiched in as well, and all to say, crucial points up for grabs throughout the weekend as we pick up some discounts. Also, we level up slightly. You can see our new revised suits around the neck area, also neon added on the sleeve on the right side. But anyway, it's time for qualifying. Let's go.
Atmospheric tracks don't come much better than this. We're in Brazil for qualifying. Let's get some laps at the limit.
that's not ideal. A bit of a tricky one to judge. I thought the lap was actually not terrible, but Leclerc 105.8, Verstappen 105.9. Those two definitely a level above everybody else. For me, obviously, losing DRS. You know, I've never had that before. That's a real surprise. How much did we really lose? I'm not sure, but obviously I had to also use my battery differently because of it. So I do think we could have maybe gone a 10th quicker, but there wasn't a lot more in it. I reckon we could have just got into the top 10. But after that, I feel like we're kind of struggling a bit. So not the best qualifying. Let's see what our race pace is like.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Perez, Stroll, Martinez, Hülkenberg, Albon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ocon, Magnussen, Bottas, Ricciardo, Chadwick, Joe, and Logan Sargent. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
For this sprint, it seems like the AI have opted for softs. That was the go-to strategy, the first option. But I've opted for mediums. We need to roll the dice and try something different. I'm hoping we'll have good tyres at the end and we can, you know, make some progress and some overtakes right at the death, because we're going to need to be strong this entire sprint. I feel like my pace is a little bit slow so far this weekend. I can't quite put my finger on it. So we're going to have to bear that in mind as we get this one underway. So let's see how the sprint goes. Anyway, hopefully my voice holds up. Lights on here at Interlagos. Uphill start. Not a bad start, to be fair, on mediums. Outside line through the centre S. We've got Hülkenberg on the inside. We'll get back past him. Stroll wobbles a little bit there. Goes from outside to in. I lost a lot of momentum, which I had on the exit of the corner. Hülkenberg having a look again here and gets through. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite manage. I went for a little half-hearted attempt, you know, up the inside of Stroll at turn 4, but no way through. I thought about the move on Hülkenberg again. We're going to have to probably just wait a couple of laps and, you know, wait for the crossover on tyres to happen. So I think for now, if we just manage our rubber, that's going to be the wise play. We saw we had overheating issues on the softs, on the right rear, on our practice race runs, so that's something to factor in as well. Let's use our battery here and let's see if we can try and potentially re-overtake Hülkenberg to turn 1 if he starts to flash. Let's go for it. I've got momentum. Let's make it count.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Still there, but we go through at turn 2. Hülkenberg backing out, so we reclaim our starting spot. Still a few positions out of the point, so we're going to have to work our way back in. Let's try and stay in DRS range. Leclerc 107.5. Piastri matches it. There's already a bit of a break happening ahead. Kevin Magnussen has qualified quite high up and is a bit of an outlier. But to be fair, we're in good company. Stroll, Checo, Alonso are the 3 cars ahead. So if we just stick with them, we should be able to catch up to the leaders, especially if we stick with Checo. You can see Magnussen is losing time now with the top 6.
I've got information on Stroll. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Okay, we'll take that. Little freebie. Won't see me complaining. We'll get him on the pit straight. So right on the back of him, we're just going to leave it in hot lap mode. We are going to lose DRS on Checo here, which is not exactly optimal, but I'm going to trust our pace and we can hopefully get back through in the middle sector. Just got to make sure we have a good lap here, a strong lap. That was a great middle sector. We've got ourselves back in DRS range, which is massive. Although we might lose it again for the next zone, but crucially we're sticking with the train, and that's all that matters. Could be a purple lap, not quite 1:07.4. Good pace though. We're back in the mix, come on. For now, the target is going to be P7. It's actually Hamilton who's the outlier who's going slow. I thought it was Magnussen, so ignore what I said. Lewis struggling for pace in that Mercedes. Now, worth noting, Verstappen's P2, top 8 scored points, so right now we're not scoring anything. Target P7, I think that's the best we can hope for. At the moment, tyres look healthy. Very, very healthy. We've worked our way back up to a full charge, so just getting ready for the next wave. The tyres will start to go off now. We'll have a better tyre wear offset. It's quite tricky to get a move because it's a triple DRS effect train here, all being dragged along by Alonso, which is not ideal. Although you can see this time we've got a bit of momentum here with hot lap mode.
Caution, caution.
Oh my god, Russell's off. I can't overtake, yellow flag. We get gifted a freebie, so we're P9, but I had to abandon that overtake attempt on Checo. Still, we'll take it. If we can get to the front of this train, that's P6, no, P5, no, P6. So we'll take that. That'll be a decent result. Oh, little snap there. That wasn't ideal. I was hoping to run that back. We might still have a chance. Let's see. Do we catch Checo flashing? Yep, here we go. Up the inside. Let go of the brake. Perez still there, but we go around the outside and we'll pick that one up. Not my best move, but we will take it. Absolutely take it. Now this could be interesting. Alonso, of course, without DRS. We're going to get the double slingshot off the back of Hamilton. Got a full charge, so we can use it wisely. Here we go. Closing in. Now Hamilton using the battery, attacking Alonso. We're going to take a back seat here and open up turn 1. Through we go. Lovely. Absolutely beautiful. That was coordinated to perfection. Hamilton's still there, but we'll just take the inside line and move into P6. Right. Let's lock this down. Let's try and break away in this middle sector if possible and use our tyre offset to try and break a gap. Let's see if we have the pace to do that. Haven't been that quick this weekend, but hopefully the tyre difference will help us at this stage. Okay, didn't break DRS, but 7/10 is a healthy margin. We'll stay on the battery here this entire straight. Look at that. Really good. I just hope selling ourselves out was absolutely worth it. I think we've got it. Yep, there we go. Lovely. Right then, job done. Leclerc's going to win the sprint. Verstappen only second. That's good damage limitation, and we only lose out a few points to our championship rival. So, part 1 of the weekend done. We now move to the main event.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So just to recap, Verstappen, of course, with that second place, did score 7 points. We got 3 for P6, so the gap goes up to 21, but now it's time for the main event. So let's get to work and let's turn this around.
Atmospheric tracks don't come much better than this. We're in Brazil for qualifying. Let's get some laps at the limit.
Now this time we had DRS, no failure, but we qualified 15th. We did a 106.4 in the sprint shootout, and this one was actually slower. It was a bit more of a scruffy lap, I will admit, and even the pole time's a tenth slower than the sprint shootout pole time. So generally everyone went a little bit slower compared to that session, but even still, we should have at least matched the 0.4 we did in the sprint shootout because we had no DRS back then. So yeah, a very scruffy couple of qualifyings. I think P10 was the maximum we could have hoped for, but I also think the pace isn't there. The sprint also kind of confirmed that we are just lacking a little bit compared to our rivals. So let's get into the race.
Welcome to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner, and just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Yung Cao into one of 2 DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Stroll, Magnussen, Gasly, Hülkenberg, Martinez, Tsunoda, Ocon, Bottas, Chadwick, Zhou, Sargent, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Right, so here we go. Time for the race. Now, this is tricky, very tricky. Qualifying single lap pace is a problem around here. The race pace doesn't seem too bad based off the sprint, but we have a massive uphill climb. Now, I think I'm going to try something different again. Now, these are the strategies the game is recommending for me. Both of them involve soft tyres. Now, we could potentially go for that. That's possibly an option, but I want to leave my options open. So that would mean starting on mediums and just see how the stint goes and take it from there. We could go softs, we could go hards, depending on what we need to do. Fuel-wise, based off the sprint, I will saving fuel, so we're going to go with 0 on the nose, like literally even. So, yeah, that should be fine and should give us a decent race. So let's get into it and let's see what happens. Either way, no grid drops worth noting. So Verstappen's P2. We're going to have to try and fight today and really give it some to get back up there, because this could be a decisive race in the championship and this could potentially cost us. Let's get into it. Right, here we go. We're going to line her up. Again, same story as the sprint, the AI electing softs for their initial stint. So we're going to have to get through the first couple laps, hopefully then fight. So let's get to work and let's try and fire back. Lights on. Brazil, round 21. Here we go. Like, subscribe, and we're underway. Oh, that's not a good start. We got a good start in the sprint, but not in the main race. Right, easy does it. Let's try and keep our front wing. Jamie Chadwick on our left, also on our right. As we go to the left, we're going to try and stay ahead of her if possible. On the battery. Come on. Come on. Back up the inside. Let's try and repass Ocon. little bit of contact there. We do barge him out a little bit off-road as we get a bit of a silly warning there. I was trying to force a move on Sonoda into the hairpin. We're going to go for a little lunge and try and pick this one up. This is usually an easy position to make up. Oh, bit of contact there almost. Had to get out of it, but we're fighting the car the whole way. We're going to commit though and go for it again, and this time we get it. And we're back to our starting spot, P15, so bit of a ragged first lap. I had to get aggressive and get the elbows out and got a warning in the process, but crucially we're back where we began. Not out of the woods yet though. Gonna have to swim with the sharks for the first few laps. Either way, based off the sprint, I'm confident in my pace.
Okay, DRS is now available.
Sonoda down the inside. We're going to just get the better outside line there and get the run. We're going to have DRS so we can manage. Already a break ahead. Quite a big one. There's a McLaren actually at the front of this little train. So that would be a decent car to follow if we could work our way up there and get within his DRS. They're still going side by side with, I believe, a Haas. I could be wrong. Yep, and that Haas has got in front is Piastri. So let's see. Oh boy, it's kicking off big time. Piastri has got through though. Oh my god. Not ideal. 2 warnings. We're going to have to contest with that now for the rest of the race. We're going to go around the outside of Pierre and have absolutely none of it. That was a bit of a late move from me, but I genuinely thought I'd get given a bit of room, but the AI having absolutely none of it. Anyway, we've got a full charge, so we can put that to the works. Also, the Aston Martin's a good car to follow as well. That's Lance Stroll. Just got to clear these 2 Haas cars. Hopefully we'll clear them ASAP. And we can try and run with Piastri and Lance, and hopefully they'll drag us towards the promised land a little bit. For now though, just got to wait. Hulkenberg having a bit of a look at
Yellow flag.
Magnussen. We've got a yellow flag. That could be interesting. It's a Ferrari. So another mistake,
Green flag.
like we saw with George Russell in the sprint. I've got the battery on here. We're going to try and commit to a move up the inside of Hulkenberg. We'll leave room, taking the shorter line out of turn 4, and we're through. Could we get Magnussen here right away? Not quite. I tried to. It's Sainz, that Ferrari, that's gone and made an error, so another good car to follow. I think we'll have a shot at getting past Magnussen here. If the AI derate as they usually do, which Magnussen does, we'll go up the inside of turn 1. Magnussen's still there, but we go around the outside of turn 2, and that's now P12. Right, let's get these 3 up ahead. Let's try and stick with them. They're going to be good cars to work with. Very important for our race, this. Stroll's at risk here of potentially losing DRS. So another reason to get by and try to stick with Piastri and Sainz. Well, this should be fairly straightforward, this one. Got a good pace right now. The tyres are working well. We're also slightly in the negative on fuel, but that's perfect. We should be able to save that back once we box. The Stroll doesn't have DRS here, so this should be an easy one. Here we go. Like taking candy from a baby. Straight through. Next up, Piastri after that. Leclerc. So I thought the Sainz are actually Leclerc. Okay. Leclerc was, I believe, leading, so wow, that's a big mistake for him to make. Anyway, let's try and get within Piastri's DRS next time around. Oh, big snap. Overdriving a little bit. You can see they've actually caught up to a couple of cars. Ricciardo and a Mercedes. I'm going to assume that's Hamilton based off the sprint. Let's see if we can try and get involved and catch up to these lot. Never mind, it's Albon in the Williams. Putting in a shift. This will hopefully bring us within DRS range by the end of the lap this time. The sun's really glaring through my window right now. Getting a bit of visibility issues at times in certain corners. It's just hit me in the eyes. Either way, should hopefully be over soon. Meanwhile, we can see now Leclerc has caught up to that Mercedes, and Piastri now should get past Albon. So usually it's a bit of tit for tat. Piastri passes now, then Albon gets DRS on the next straight. Hopefully we can try and get involved and pick something up here, as they'll both go side by side into the center S, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Good exit, good run. We're going to follow Albon here, who's going to have DRS. We're going to do a carbon copy of our double overtaking the sprint, and we're going to get Albon and Piastri, just like that. And there's Hamilton and Leclerc ahead. Let's try and see if we can try and get within their DRS by the end of the lap. That would be huge. Unlikely, but huge. This is going to be close, but I think we're just going to miss out. Oof, especially after that. Let's use battery here in hot lap, because we're usually pretty decent on the pit straight. Wow, that sun's crazy, by the way. I've never had this before. The glare is mental. We should get DRS, hopefully, next time around, if we have a decent lap. Although I'm just starting to struggle on the rears a little bit. I've got to say, Leclerc is really quick. He's dragging Hamilton along, and they're getting away. I've had to close my blind because the sun glare was just getting ridiculous. I couldn't see a damn thing, but...
And you're down to 24 laps of fuel remaining.
Yep, we are going to burn a lot of fuel as well in clean air like this. But at the minute, I don't have an answer. Don't have the pace. Yep, we're losing time. I don't have an answer right now. I feel like the tyre wear is higher than the sprint as well. But yeah, those softs are working well. I don't have anything to say really. My pace isn't good enough, and that's just the bottom line.
I've got some information on Alonso. They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Right, I assume he's in the lead group, so that's good news. Let's see if he drops a few cars with him. Alonso's there already. Leclerc is getting by. Hamilton will follow. So Alonso's very, very slow. Albon pits. Right, more cars into the pit lane. And that includes Alonso. I was hoping to get DRS, but never mind. Didn't quite work out as I hoped. Nothing quite going our way this race so far. Just, unfortunately, I'm not quick enough, so I better hope that we have a better second stint or find something from somewhere.
We're approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
Right into P1. The good thing about this strategy, any form of a VSC, safety car, red flag, and we're in the money. Right, at the moment, I'm planning to go a bit longer. The gap to Perez is the one I'm looking at. It hasn't really changed in the last lap. They're battling. You can see that's where Leclerc and Hamilton are. They've caught up to Checo and George. But that's an ongoing scrap, so we'll see. Leclerc's on hards as well, so he won't be terribly quick. I want to see if I can prolong this stint enough and kind of keep the gap above 10 seconds and then box, and hopefully on softs we'll have an advantage later on. Pace at the minute is good.
But box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed.
My only concern is fuel. We've got a full charge though, so I'm using my battery wisely to try and make up for lost time. Pace is okay at the minute. Tyres have come back around. The car's a bit lighter, and I've hit a bit of a sweet spot, so I want to just try and keep things rolling in terms of momentum for the time being. Leclerc is absolutely flying. It's crazy how quick he is. Our best bet is that he actually drops the cars he's dragging with him, because I can actually beat those guys, but Leclerc's making it impossible for me to beat them. Tyre wear warning has just flashed up. I think we'll do one more lap. We need to ignore the fact Leclerc's just dragging them along. In an ideal world, the entire lead group bunches up and they lose time.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
I fear this could be a very lonely end to the race for us, because fuel's also going to be an issue. So yeah, I'm just hoping we rejoin ahead of Albon and Piastri and we're well out of that fight, and I can just try and, you know, drive as quickly as I can and try and get myself back into this race. It's not been the race I'd hoped for. I think we did a good job in the sprint. This one's going to be tricky to maximise. The top guys are very quick, and it hasn't worked out. Leclerc's just dragged everyone away when I didn't need it to happen. So yeah, he's in a different planet, different postcode pace-wise. Good stop, 2.4, but we are going to be well behind Piastri and Albon, by the way. Well behind.
Our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Behind Alonso as well, just confirming really the lack of pace. I mean, look at that, we're behind Stroll, Hulkenberg. Yeah, I've got this horribly wrong. We are not quick around it. This has been a bad race. Right, we need a big last stint then to at least get back to where we were, which is ahead of, you know, Piastri and Albon. Right, let's see. These tyres should be good to the end now, which is the positive. We've gone very long on that first stint, so we're going to look to go by. Also, fastest lap will be critical. It's not going to happen right away as we have to deal with traffic, but hopefully we'll clear these two ASAP. And we'll have DRS, preferably on Alonso, by the end of the lap. That would be ideal if we can make that happen. Right, there we go. We've cleared those two. Let's get Fernando. This could actually be our purple lap, to be fair. That first sector was quicker than I thought. Not quite going to get there. A little bit too much to ask, but hopefully we'll have DRS for the next straight. We'll use our battery here, which also might give us a slight slipstream. Right, so there's the purple lap, and that should be the extra point. We'll take a lap to charge behind Alonso here, and then launch onto Albon and Piastri. Right, we should be able to get past this time with hot lap mode on Alonso, who won't have DRS. Piastri's braking free. So this should be fairly linear, one by one by one. We'll get past these three guys. Alonso first. And we might just nab a little bit of DRS off Albon for this straight as well in the process, which we do. Lovely, we're also saving fuel. Right, carbon copy of the last lap. Let's get this done with DRS. We'll also aim for the outside line, which works better. And we'll hopefully get a leapfrog onto Piastri. DRS by the end of the next lap is going to be the objective here. Fuel now on target, so we're doing a good job here. Let's keep it moving, let's keep it rolling. And exactly as planned, we're now within Oscar's DRS. So we'll take a lap to save a bit of fuel, take a charge, so then when we do pass, we disappear. Let's get Oscar. And that will be P8, hopefully with the fastest lap. I don't think we're going to catch the cars ahead. We're way too far back, and they're not really battling enough to lose time. So this will be it for our race. Got the run. Clean around the outside. Oscar's still there, leaving a bit of room on the inside. Through we go, but we're now going to have no DRS, which is a slight inconvenience. So we'll just drift to the inside, let Oscar go high. And that should do it. Right, let's drive away and let's disappear in this middle sector. Gap 7/10, just like in the sprint, we should hopefully slowly edge away. This is proving a bit more difficult than I anticipated. Also, my rear right is starting to get hot, which is a bit of an issue because I can't push flat out. Nope, I cannot get away. Piastri's here. We're not going to shake him off, so we're going to have to deal with it and try to defend from him.
Okay, information on Verstappen. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Oh my god. He's P2, I'm pretty certain. Oh my days, he could finish P7. That suddenly makes this race a right result. Piastri goes through. I'm not going to fight. We'll try and get him back on the last lap, but oh my days, Verstappen now. A reliability problem right at the end of the race. I'm not going to go for this. I'm going to wait. We're probably not going to get the exit here, but I'm going to try and take a chance and get this one back on the pit straight on the line if all goes according to plan. Right then, here we go. Fuel's good. Battery's good. Norris wins. I managed to get my right rear slightly under control, but now we need everything. Verstappen's going to survive. I think he got P4 or P5. The Mercs were too far back. We need this though, and we're going to get it. P8, fastest lap.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Corner for the last time. Lando Norris is victorious.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
So all things considered, I must say that's a decent result. I'm well impressed with Charles Leclerc. He was so rapid. P3 after that initial mistake. He just kept on charging forward the entire time. But Verstappen finishes P5. So in the end, we lose 5 points plus the 4 points from the sprint. It's not doom and gloom. So in the standings, after those 2 races, we're now 26 points behind. So just outside of a race win. We could probably get that back quite easily at Qatar, which is a good track for me, a bad track for the AI. So a potential, sprint win and race win combination there. Either way, that's fine. I'll take that. Constructors, P5, Mercedes, pull away a little bit. It is what it is. We had a chance there to close in, but we didn't have the pace. And that's ultimately what mattered. We weren't quick enough for that weekend, and that's it, bottom line. No need to look into it anymore. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's episode. Leave a like and subscribe. As always, on screen now, you're going to have the post-race fallout. We've hit our level 20 acclaim. We've got our new sponsor, so it doesn't really matter that much. Ultimately, it's going to affect the payouts, and hopefully we hit all of our goals on that front. Also, we did well in our rivalries. Either way, the championship rolls on. Verstappen versus Martinez. We'll see what happens next, guys. As always, a massive shout out to the members. Check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one very soon. Until then, take care, and that's goodbye from me. Ciao.